Hi everyone, this is Ellen from the Astrology Journal. I want to talk about the sextile aspect. It came up in the recording I did on Mars entering Aquarius. And I was talking about how the sextile represents opportunity, and it does. That's traditionally how we understand the opportunity. But what always interests me is, why does something represent what it does? And what I've been doing lately, and I believe other people have done before me, so I don't think I'm the only person here, I don't think I'm an originator of this, is it can be helpful to look at the symbolism of the sign that's related to the aspect. So in other words, an aspect is an angular relationship between planets. And what that means is one planet is at one place on the wheel, and another planet is at another place on the wheel. And if you measure that distance between those two planets, depending on what that distance is, that distance represents an aspect. There are only some distances that are considered aspects for most astrologers would only consider some distances as representing aspects. So let's say the sextile aspect is 60 degrees. So if two planets are 60 degrees away from each other, give or take, a few degrees, then they're in a sextile aspect with one another. They're in a sextile relationship with one another, or a relationship of opportunity, because that's what the sextile aspect means. So if we count out 60 degrees on the wheel, starting at 0 degrees of Aries, the archetypal or natural wheel, so we start at 0 degrees Aries and count 60 degrees, that brings us to 0 degrees of Gemini. And if we count backwards starting from 0 degrees of Aries and count 60 degrees, that gets us to 0 degrees, or the beginning of Aquarius. So Gemini is the first air sign, and Aquarius is the third or final air sign. So it represents, to me, I'm starting to think about these as representing kind of like developmental steps. These are the elements. This is the air element. So all of the different elements, each of the signs in those representing developmental steps. Or foundations. Each gives us a foundation on which the next one builds. So in Gemini, it's about curiosity. We're opening up to the world around us, and we're becoming really curious about it. We're starting to ask questions. We're starting to, reach out and experiment with, or like try things. We just become very curious about things. So we can say that on that level, if we just think about that part of the Gemini archetype, we can say that curiosity is one of the foundations for the air element. For the unfolding of the air element through then Libra and then Aquarius. And then if we look at Aquarius represents, one thing that it represents is experimentation. So that's interesting. So Gemini, we're becoming curious about something, and in Aquarius, we're taking that curiosity and we're actually implementing a procedure. If we think about something like the scientific method, we're implementing a procedure that allows us to test what we become curious about something that leads us to questions. We can then seek answers to our questions by using, in this case, the scientific method. And there would probably be other ways to do that, but that's our times. We use the scientific method in our times. So opportunity, the thing about the sextile aspect is it doesn't just happen. If you double that 60 degrees and you make it 120 degrees, that's the trine aspect, and things just flow. Things are they just flow. You don't have to do anything. They will happen. Whether it's negative or positive, by the way, it will just happen. The energy is just going to flow. So, but that's not true in the sextile. In the sextile, we have to see the opportunity, and then we have to take advantage of it. So how do we see the opportunity? We become curious. When we are curious, we open ourselves up to the possibility of seeing opportunities. So that's the first step. And then the other interesting thing about opportunity, thinking about the Gemini, the Aquarius side of this. So Aquarius is the unknown, that which is unknown. It comes right after Capricorn. Capricorn is what we know, and Aquarius wants to break out of what we want to know, and it's stepping into the future. We don't know the future. We know the past. The past the Capricorn is all the habits and patterns. So by definition, Capricorn is about the past, because we develop those habits and patterns over time. And Capricorn essentially represents the manifestation of those habits and patterns. And then in Aquarius, it's like, but we don't know. Aquarius is the new. We don't have habits and patterns set up. We don't know this new terrain. And so the scientific method, as one example, allows us to set up a procedure that allows us to test and try to understand this new domain. It gives us a pathway through which we can learn about this new domain. So opportunity, the sextile aspect, based on this assessment of it or analysis of it, we start with curiosity, and then presumably when we take that opportunity, we're stepping into something new, something we don't know. So it's going to be a matter of trial and error before we really start to understand it and get to know it. So another aspect of opportunity might be we're learning something new, which again may be why we're not we may be why it doesn't just happen, because we don't already just know it. I hope that makes sense. I don't think at this point I can explain it any better than that, but that's where I'm at with it and how I'm starting to think about it. So anyway, I just wanted to add that to what I was saying about Mars entering Aquarius. And Mars, by the way, is action, so taking action. We may not know how to do the thing that we want to do, so we may be taking action to experiment and explore something we don't yet know. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for listening. I hope, as always, that there was something helpful or useful for you in this. Okay, take care. Bye.